Hey Libras, and welcome to your December 2017 General Tarot Forecast. This is Sky here to give you guys some guidance for the month, and I'm really feeling a strong connection to you guys this month. I've had some really wonderful encounters with Libras, and I've found myself surrounded by Libras, which is quite rare. I don't know a lot of Libras, but I've met a lot of Libras, and I've felt very held and supported and nurtured by Libras right now, so I'm appreciative to everyone who I've worked with, who I've had like private readings with, who are Libras, and just all the friends who may be listening now that I have made. You guys are wonderful, and I am really happy to have been introduced to your energy in the way that I was over November. An extra card did pop out for you guys this month, and that was the Hermit. I usually don't include them, but I just felt like I should, because all the Libras that I've been talking to and working with have felt very alone and felt very like disconnected, I think, from everyone else, and it's kind of been that way for a long time. But it seems like you guys have gone within more. You've been working in a more isolated way, or really cutting ties with old relationships of the past, which is wonderful and also kind of dangerous if you're not doing it for the right reasons. Make sure you know why you're pushing people out right now, or make sure you know why you're disconnecting in general. I do think that December can come in and see you guys moving, or see you guys changing relationships, becoming single, becoming partnered. Big changes in a sense that you're cutting off who you are or who you've been, and reinstating it or reinvesting it into new people or new experiences. So yes, it's very transitional. I sense like bridges or new objects which put you into new places, like just vehicles of energetic transmutation and transformation coming in right now. So you guys have more of this energy than a lot of the other zodiac signs right now, which is interesting. I mean, Jupiter did just leave your sign, so maybe you've sort of understood how to work with that. Saturn will be moving into Capricorn, which will square your Libra planets, or whatever it is in Libra that you have that has you watching this video. So that's going to be a new energy, lots of new structures, lots of new unexpected systems of putting things together or understanding. You can start to see what developed your momentum and for what reasons you found yourself in the place that you are, and through that you may put yourself into a new place. This month feels like a lot of potentials for falling back into old patterns as well. It's like there's such a balance between creating these new, really exciting situations and scenarios, but at the same time you have potentially some people from your past or past situations still haunting you or holding you back. It's going to be important to not overanalyze in a way. I mean, you kind of have to get to the bottom of some things, but you're really called to not make mountains out of molehills, or to not really play things up in a way that is almost like a delusional type of thing, because you guys have Seven of Cups. Seven of Cups is a big card for everyone this month. It's been in a lot of readings, so there's a lot of people, and it may not even necessarily be you, Libra, it could be people around you, really turning situations into things that they're not. I see that energy a lot when like somebody's in a relationship, and just because, you know, their significant other hasn't sent them a message, they think that they must be cheating. You know, it's like really not having evidence, or not having a good enough structured idea of what's going on, but still drawing conclusions which are false. Watch out for that type of thing this month. It's better for things to be simple. I really feel like simplicity in December is key, because there's a lot of people around you, or a lot of situations which lead you to maybe make things very complicated. So however you can be simple will be really good. You are taking stock. You have that Seven of Pentacles in your reading, which a lot of other people have as well this month. You're really understanding where you've been in 2017. 2017 for everybody has been a really, really strong year of change and sort of gathering energy to burst onto the scene in a new type of way and to live your life in a new type of way in the future. But it's been a hard year for a lot of people, and a lot of cycles have developed, which may not be the most positive thing, as you guys will be taking time in December here to understand what cycles you have as a person, what addictive tendencies you have, what you can't live without, what you can. And ultimately seeing that in a way that you gain strength from it, and that you come past the difficult heartbreaks and traumatic experiences that you have gone through. But anyway, in the week to week, you guys have the Emperor rooted down by strength for your first week of December. I do sense this to be the most empowering week in the month for you in a positive way. You guys I feel like, are taking control, or you are taking back what you've lost, or having almost lost your diet or having almost lost your money, you suddenly realize what's going on and you take it back and you go back into sort of this more positive cycle of creating what you want in the future. And you may be breaking up, or you may be putting new parameters onto relationships because some of you may be feeling over controlled by your relationship or overexerted in your relationship. The Emperor is about control dynamics, and it's about people who have a lot of power, and oftentimes this can represent somebody that you're in a relationship with who has power over you, perhaps in ways that you've not quite caught on to yet, and you do gain a lot of strength by identifying that and by confronting it. It is kind of a confronting month for you, so any kind of issue that you see coming up or any kind of lies that you've caught on to, it's better to confront them than it is to work with them in a more behind-the-scenes type of way. And it's easy to be out of the spotlight right now. It's easy to be behind the scenes because we are coming out of Scorpio time and moving into Sagittarius time here, but there needs to be some kind of, again, really strong confrontational, burst into the spotlight with Sagittarius energy. So it's not so good to keep secrets or to know that somebody's done you wrong and, hold on to it in a way that you might use it as blackmail or something in the future. Watch out for those types of things. I see those tendencies coming in for you, or those desires to maybe be a little bit vengeful or to use your power in a behind-the-scenes type of way, because you are very powerful, more powerful than you realize, Libra, which is interesting because you're not that activated, honestly, by planets and by what's happening in the sky, but you were obviously for the last year very activated by Jupiter, so it's interesting to see how much power you have actually gained from that and how much sway you may have, even if you've not quite realized. In the second week, you guys have 7 of Cups rooted down by 5 of Swords, so it really feels like a lot of problems can crop up through, again, making mountains out of molehills or really trying to play things up in the wrong way. It's not such a good month, I feel like, to emphasize things or to accent things in a very strong way, and that sounds very abstract, but any kind of concept of highlighting or making more obvious people's faults or people's intentions which aren't your own will lead you into weird karmic cycles. It feels like you can make enemies very easily here. That's as simple as I can put it, or as non-abstract as I can put it. It feels like small things that you do which might be not even a bad intention on your part, but it's kind of questionable and people aren't really sure, can make people really dislike you. So make sure that you're being very clear in your intentions. So any Libras who have a lot of power in their workplace or who have a lot of people below them, make sure that you're being nice and smiling and not being too harsh, because it feels like people can just not like you very much, and it has a lot to do with how well you're doing, because in the paradigm that we found ourselves in, people don't really like that much people who are doing well. So specifically Libras who are doing very well, you can find yourself with perhaps not a lot of friends, or not a lot of new friends at least, and you can solve this very easily by laughing, or by being very positive, being charitable, or being different, pervading the stereotype or pervading the norm that you sense of somebody who might be as high up as you are. Maybe you think, oh, I'm very high up and that means I can really, keep my nose held high and, walk in and sort of be the boss of everything. Really work with changing that archetype up. How can you maybe treat your people who are beneath you as if they were your higher ups, but everybody knows that you're the higher up? Things like that can really break this type of karma and can see you really becoming more popular. In the third week, you guys have the Devil rooted down by 3 of Swords reversed. That's definitely a breakup type of energy, or a separation from old energy for sure. You see the shackles that are in the Devil card. You are connected to something potentially that's not so good for you, or something which is a negative karmic cycle, and it will be wonderful to see you not reinstating that, or not keeping that close to you by seeing through the heartbreak of the past. So 3 of Swords reversed deals with seeing through heartbreak and seeing through trauma, and realizing that maybe this trauma or this heartbreak is merely a cycle and merely a device for me to distract myself from my purpose. I feel like that's really strong for you Libras, is what are you using to distract yourself from your purpose? What are you using perhaps as tragedies from the past, or even comedies, or very strong emotional experiences, can become not that, but just distractions for what you actually need to do. I've talked a lot about in the other signs too, like regret just being a filler of time. It's not necessarily so much that you regret the past. It has more to do with not wanting to burst into the future and using regret as a third-party object to take it away from yourself. So definitely dealing with tendencies of self-sabotage and cutting things. Lots of swords energy. 5 and 3 of swords. They're just such strong swords cards. Feeling burned or feeling betrayed in a new kind of way. It's not so long running as it would be with like the 10 of swords or something, but you might be realizing that I thought that I was betrayed by that person who cheated on me 3 years ago, but in reality, I've only betrayed myself by playing it up in a light that took so much from me. It's really good to be able to detach and let go of things. Even if you get cheated on or something, Libras, try to laugh it off. And obviously move on, like don't stay with somebody or don't prolong that cycle. But there's a really strong connection, it feels like, for you guys, in the sense that somebody betraying you is only half the battle, in the sense that you betray yourself by holding on to it. So watch out for those types of things. 4th week, 7 of Pentacles reversed, rooted down by the Hierophant. You are potentially getting married here or engaged. So there's a lot of conflicting energy with your relationship status, Libra. There are potentials for breakups, and there are potentials for, becoming engaged or becoming more relatable to somebody. The Hierophant is always a marriage card. And I feel like that's only for about 20% of Libras who are watching, who have marriage energy. You've really solved something strong if you can be engaged or married during this time. For most of you Libras, it has to do with finding the key or finding the secret beneath the surface of everything. As I said, not so good to operate behind the scenes, but that specifically relates to other people. It's not good to be behind the scenes of other people's lives, but it really feels like that through understanding what you've needed or how you've lashed out in a beneath the surface type of way gives you a lot of understanding and a lot of ability to open new doors on your spiritual path. There will be a new door opening for you guys in December, towards the end of around the new year, starting in January, where you are having a new door open to you, which could be coming in through that Hermit reversed energy, which is also kind of a door and new path type of energy for me as well, because it's sort of the symbol of guidance and protection. With like the lantern, like if things are feeling dark, you have 2 cards which symbolize light in the darkness. You have the Devil, you have 7 of Cups, which are both very dark cards, and then you have the Hierophant and the Hermit, which represent darkness, yes, but specifically the Hermit is like a lantern there. So you are protected through this darkness. For those of you who are feeling really overtaken by darkness, or really overtaken by bad intentions, unknown things, or feeling unstable or mentally unwell, there is a light coming in, and you will be able to navigate through that darkness. So let yourself accept that, and accept that yes, maybe it is dark, but for it to be so dark, there has to be some sort of really bright light on the surface of all of this. And dealing with your central theme of the 7 of Wands, you may not realize how higher up you are, or how much further you've come on this journey, or on this path of difficult experience that you may have had. You might still have a lot of opposition, or you might still have a lot of people who you don't really know what they want or what their intentions are, but you've risen above it in the sense that you can take it on. 7 of Wands for me is always higher ground. It's always being strong enough to face the opposition, being able to confront it. Beware of being too on guard, though. You can block yourself off this month, I feel, from the right people if you're not careful, and open yourself up to the wrong people. And how do you know which ones are right and which ones are wrong? Anybody who seems very predictable is the wrong person right now. Anybody who you can really predict their reaction, or you can really predict their expression, or how they look, or how they express themselves, is wrong, because that ties into cycles, and that ties into the Devil archetype, which is predictability and chaining yourself to some kind of predictable entity. People who you can't so easily predict, or people who you can't so easily pervade, are better right now. But then you also have to think about time with that too. Perhaps people that you've been with for a long time become more predictable, and very new people are less predictable. It's not that. It's like at more of a core level, at an energetic level, and you'll sort of know it when you see it. But watch out for people who are too predictable. Watch out for people who feel like new cycles of heartbreak. You guys are facing a lot this month, but really coming into a new spiritual path at the end of the month and being very protected and guided by wonderful people. There are going to be very specific figures, I feel like, all throughout 2018. I'm sensing like 4 or 5 people that you may see like maybe like once a quarter or something. Like every 3 months you're coming into contact with a new person or a new energy, which really helps guide you and feels very powerful, less blank, less gray than most of the people that you've brought in recently, and really strongly helping you to come to the next phase of existence. Anyway, I've really enjoyed giving this reading to you guys for December. I would so appreciate it if you would subscribe to my channel. It would be a lovely Christmas present for me. You can also check out Patreon, where these readings are ad-free, and I also do written horoscopes by the month. And you guys can also book a private reading with me. That link should be in the center of your screen, and check out your sun, moon, and rising sign in the playlist. I so appreciate your support, Libras, and I will be talking to you guys in January. Much love. Bye.